What's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power, and the much-anticipated 2025 Mr. Olympia Classic Physique Prejudging just wrapped up. You're looking at the first call-out here right now. It was an 8-man call-out, including Michael DeBull, Justin Baturina, Hozema, Mike Sommerfeld, Rough Diesel, Ramon Dino, Menengate, and One Punch Naz, Niall Darwin. I know these pictures of the first call-out aren't great. You're really not going to find any great pictures or videos of the first call-out because there's 8 guys on stage. The camera's all the way zoomed out. It's hard to tell really much of anything, except for the fact that Mike Sommerfeld, Rough Diesel, and Ramon were the 3 standouts. They sent them back in line after this call-out. The second call-out was another big call-out that included Breon, Logan, and Matt Grego. So you had, while you're looking at this call-out, I'll explain how the call-outs went. So you had a top 3 call-out that had Rough Diesel, Ramon, and Mike. You had a call-out of just Niall Darwin and Hozema. That would be for 4 and 5. And then you had another call-out that was Menengate, Logan Franklin, Justin Baturina, Michael DeBull, Matt Grego, and Fabian Meyer. So those would be for the rest of the top 10 and 11th place. So it looks like based on that possibly Breon is outside of the top 10 because those 3 callouts were basically for the top 10 and Breon wasn't in any of those 3 callouts. But looking at this first callout, it looks like that's going to be your top 5. When you look at Niall Darwin, Hozema, Rough Diesel, Ramon, and Mike, those are the 5 standouts of these 8. So let's talk about the top 3 here. That's what everybody is here for. That's what everybody wants to see. Rough Diesel, Ramon Dino, Mike Sommerfeld. Which way is this thing going to go? First off, I want to say all credit to Mike Sommerfeld. I feel like this was definitely an Olympia where he became maybe undeniable. All this drama surrounding Mike, the height controversy, the weight controversy, all the pressure on social media, the last-minute weight cut to 204, all the way down to 202.9. All this stuff with Mike, and his physique looked incredible still. In fact, I think I even prefer this version of Mike. It's kind of a downsized version of him, but I don't think it's in a bad way. I think it's in a good way. He was, I think, maybe the most conditioned guy of Ramon, Rough, and him in this call-out. He really looked good here. I mean, him overcoming all of this adversity going into the show, and maybe just like he said on his story, maybe bringing the best version of his physique to date. Maybe this was actually a good thing. Maybe he belongs in that lower weight class because it makes him look a little bit more classic, and his conditioning was phenomenal here. I think that Rough Diesel really brought it here as well. Maybe the best version of Rough that we've seen. Really, really solid. And you guys know my opinion on Rough. Of these 3 guys, I think he has the most purely classic structure of all of them. So Rough looked great. I feel like he brought it here too. I think this is probably the best back that we've seen from Ramon. And of these 3 guys, Ramon now looks to be significantly the biggest. His weight cap was much higher than Mike's. On stage, he's looking a lot bigger than Mike's. He's in really good condition here. I think all 3 of these guys absolutely brought it. And I think that whichever one of these 3 guys inherits the throne from Chris Bumstead, I think any of these 3 guys would deserve it because I think all of them look like a Mr. Olympia champion here in Classic Physique. Even Mike. Like, Mike has gotten so much hate over these past couple of weeks. I'm honestly really impressed with how Mike is looking here. I don't feel like I'm seeing a guy that dealt with all this stress, that dealt with his last-minute weight cut, that had this height controversy. I feel like he looks really good. And to say that he doesn't, I think, is a bit disingenuous. I feel like people just want to dislike him. But for me, I feel like he really proved how good he is by looking like this with all these factors playing into his prep. And then again, you look at Terrence. I feel like Terrence might be at his all-time best here. To me, he looks better here than both Pittsburgh and New York. This is definitely a very, very good Terrence. And again, in my opinion, I think Terrence has the most classic physique out of all these guys. It's a very apples and oranges comparison. I honestly feel like this could go any way of these 3 directions. I mean, on one hand, you look at Mike, he's the on-paper favorite. He won the Arnold, second last year, even had votes against Chris Bumstead. Honestly, I don't think the weight cut impacted Mike the way that I thought it was going to. I mean, he definitely looks smaller, and he is, but I don't think it's in a bad way. I think it kind of benefited his physique because he is in really good condition here. And I feel like I'm not looking at him anymore and thinking 212 guy. I'm not looking at him anymore and thinking, oh, he's too big. In fact, I think Ramon looks to be clearly the biggest of all these guys. And then, of course, all three of them spent time in the center of this call-out. This is a really difficult one to pick. I like different things about all three of these guys because I think they all really brought it. I wouldn't be mad at any one of them winning this.
Without any doubt, the greatest bodybuilding show on earth.
You don't want to miss this.
Best show in the world.
Well, I'm very excited.
Best Arnold weekend ever.
To your winner, Derek Lunsford.
Let's go.
And I can't really say, like, one is clearly better than the other. I feel like they're all so good in their own ways. Rough Diesel with this really classic structure and probably the best condition of his career. I think he looks amazing here. And, again, to me, the most classic guy of the three. Ramon, the biggest guy in the lineup, great condition. I think he looks better than last year. I think that's without question that this is a fantastic version of Ramon. He definitely stepped it up from last year by far. And then Mike, I just keep going back to Mike. Like, I'm really impressed with how he looked here, all things considered. I think he brought a great physique to this stage. Who's the most classic guy? I would pick Rough Diesel to win. I think he's clearly at his best, and he has the most classic structure. If I had to pick a winner, I would pick Terrence, to be honest with you. I think this is the most complete, the most conditioned, just the most everything. This, I think, is the best version of Terrence, bar none. And if I had to pick from these three guys, I personally would go with Terrence. Do I think the judges will go with Terrence? I'm not sure in this call-out. I'm really not. I mean, you can make an argument for each and every one of these guys. My favorite of the three is Rough Diesel. The structure, the way he poses, the condition. I don't think you can argue that this isn't the best Terrence we've ever seen. I would have him winning if I had to pick. I think that between Ramon and Mike, Ramon definitely looks way better than last year, and I think he looks more like the version of Ramon that was challenging Chris Bumstead. So I could see an argument for the judges going with Ramon because I don't know if I would say this is Ramon's best, but I think he looks clearly better than last year. And again, this looks more like the challenger to Chris than what we saw last year. But then I could also see the judges going with Mike because Mike is the on-paper favorite. We've seen that reflected in the scorecards. And I don't think he really missed here, all things considered. Like, I expected him to look way worse than he did with all these factors, all the stress, missing the height, and then having to make this crazy weight. I thought he was going to look way worse. I think he actually looked really good here. So I could also see the judges saying, well, Mike was the favorite. He's been the best all year since the last Olympia, and he overcame basically every controversy that was thrown at him and still brought a really solid package. I don't know, man. This is a really tough one. I would hate to be in the judges' shoes right now. I really couldn't be mad at them for picking any of these three guys. Every single one of these three guys really brought it, and I got to say, I can't pick who's going to win. I can't pick who the judges are going to go with here. My favorite guy of these three, I'll say, is Rough Diesel, but I don't think that means he's going to win. So I'll just give you guys that. That's where I'll leave it. I want to know who your guys' pick is, because I'm sure there's going to be 1,000 different people saying a different name in the comments. My favorite guy is Rough. I don't necessarily think that means he's going to win, but I think he absolutely brought the best classic physique that I've seen from him to date. But that's just my personal taste. The judges could go with either Ramon or Mike, and I wouldn't be mad at that either. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What are your predictions? What do you think about, Logan and Breon being pretty much way outside of the conversation? This is a top three where I could see it going. I could see an argument, honestly, for it going any direction. To be honest, I know people are not going to like this answer, but I think the judges would probably go with Mike here. My personal favorite, like I said, is Rough Diesel. I think Ramon looked great. I think Mike proved himself here, and I think the judges have consistently shown they really like Mike. They really like his physique, and considering that Mike overcame just every adversity thrown at him, my feeling is the judges are probably going to go with Mike on this one. Even though my personal favorite is Rough, I think I can see him winning. I can see Mike winning this. And honestly, like I said in the beginning of the video, like the wow factor for me, it was mostly my reaction to Mike when he came out, that he really overcame the cut. He looked good. I mean, there's no denying that Mike looked good. You can hate him all you want. He was peeled out of his mind. He didn't look bad. The weight cut didn't seem to negatively affect him. The downsized version of his physique, I think, actually looked better. I can see a strong case for Mike winning this, even though Terrence is my personal favorite. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Give me your predictions. Give me your winner. Make your case for who's going to win this show. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification icon if you have not already. And as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.